Hey everybody, welcome into Fox and Friends. Happy Sunday. Hope you're doing well.
It's a delicious morning around here.
It's a delicious morning. Yeah, we always have tons of food, but more important, we have Anna Koyman on the couch.
And Tucker Carlson, Clayton Morris.
It's amazing. And we've got some
the love could not be.
We got some big political news because Donald Trump firing back over this New York Times piece. We'll bring that to you in mere moments. But we want to bring you this. Dr. Ben Carson, former Republican candidate for president. He was been fighting back against the Never Trump camp and threw his hat behind Donald Trump almost immediately after dropping out of the presidential race. Doctor, nice to see you this morning.
Good to see you, Dr. Carson. So
nice to see you.
The Never Trump people have said from the beginning Donald Trump is not conservative. He's not a traditional conservative. There's probably some truth in that. Now they're telling us that Mitt Romney and Mark Cuban might make good third-party candidates to run against Trump. Are they more conservative than Donald Trump? Is Mark Cuban more conservative than Donald Trump? I'm getting confused.
Well, you know, there's a level of arrogance there that is almost incomprehensible. We have a system in place that allows the will of the people to be expressed. Now these people come along and say, the people don't know what they're talking about. Get them out of here. We're the ones who know who the nominee should be. And I hope people are taking note of that and who these people are.
Well, Mark Cuban has said that he doesn't want to do it. In fact, it seems like the Never Trump people are having a hard time finding somebody who does want it. I want to get your thoughts. I mean, is it too late in the first place? And would it ensure that Hillary Clinton gets the White House?
Well, of course it would fracture the party. And, you know, that's the goal of some of the people who would actually prefer to have Hillary in place because she's a known quantity. She's one of them. I think a lot of the people have recognized that there's a political class. It consists of both Democrats and Republicans and independents who believe that they are in control and they should maintain control and they have a right to be in control. And Thomas Jefferson said it best. He said, just before we turned into another form of government because we weren't paying attention and the government was growing and dominating, that the people would awaken. They would recognize what was going on. They would rise up. I believe that's happening, not just with Republicans. A lot of Democrats also are recognizing what's going on because, you know, we're Americans first, and we have a system that has worked very well, that propelled us to the pinnacle of the world, that gave our children an opportunity. We're throwing all that away right now, and I think a lot of people are starting to understand that.
It was reported this week, Dr. Carson, that you are mounting sort of a PR campaign, reaching out, making phone calls to people perhaps in the Never Trump movement, former rivals of Donald Trump, making the case to come on to the Trump train. How are you making that case? What has been the response?
Well, you know, I'm not just talking to former candidates. Talk to everybody about that. You know, there were certain people in the media who came out and said that I'm making a personal reach to this person or that person. That's their own interpretation. I've never said that. But I do have an open door policy and want to encourage that we all get together. I've actually advocated maybe all the candidates coming together in a room with Donald Trump and let's talk about what we can do to fix this country and to help. And not how we destroy one person or another person. And the key thing that people have to recognize is we're at a point right now where we are deciding what kind of country we're going to be and what we're going to pass on to our children. Are we going to have a progressive movement that does things like confuse our children and tell them, you're not a boy, you're not a girl, it's what you feel like today. Come on, give me a break. You know, we're going completely off the rail. 30 years ago, if somebody had tried to describe today's America to you, you would have said, give me a break. There's no way that could ever happen in America. Now, it's happening at record speed. We've got to stop it.
So, Dr. Carson, the New York Times, basically the media arm of the Hillary Clinton campaign, has been making the case for months that Donald Trump is a sexist. They have a new piece today making that case as well. What do you think of the piece, and as a Christian, are you comfortable with the way Donald Trump behaves with women?
Well, you know, Donald Trump has elevated a lot of women in his organization much sooner than other people begin to recognize the value of women. So, as a Christian, what I do is not judge everybody. And that seems to be something that a lot of people have gotten into. I'm better than you are, you know, and you're, you know, give me a break. Let's just stop for a moment. And I'm talking to conservatives. and let's consider where we are as a nation and what we have to do. What your feelings are personally about a person is irrelevant. What we need to be talking about is your children and your grandchildren's future. Think about that, and you'll make the right choice.
Doctor, here's what Donald Trump just tweeted moments ago in response to this New York Times article. He wrote this: "The failing New York Times wrote yet another hit piece on me. All are impressed with how nicely I have treated women. They found nothing a joke." Do you think next week that the New York Times will release a lengthy piece on the history of women in the Clinton family?
No, I don't think that's very likely to happen. You know, they don't even try to hide their bias. You know, many of these newspapers and news organizations, and that's why people have so little faith in them. They used to be highly trusted, and of course the press is the only business that's protected by our Constitution. The reason was because they were supposed to be honest, they were supposed to be on the side of the people and keep the people informed so that they could make the right choices. That has been distorted, and you see what the result is. I call upon young journalists to reject those people who are training them to be dishonest and to have an agenda.
Dr. Carson, speaking of Hillary Clinton, she's been on her political megaphone saying that Donald Trump needs to release his taxes and that he must have something to hide if he doesn't release them. What do you think? Does he need to do that, or is that going to get him off message, and does he have anything to hide?
Well, he has a lawyer. His lawyer has told him that he should not release those tax forms until after the audit is completed. He has said that once the audit is completed, he will release them. We don't have any reason to believe that that's untrue. So if somebody really wants them badly, why don't you put some pressure on the IRS to finish your audit so that he can release them?
But it's a little weird, though, because, I mean, Donald Trump is so open about everything else. He doesn't seem to hide anything. Why wouldn't he release his tax returns? I mean, I don't know. It might be kind of interesting to read them. No?
Again, I mean, you probably, Tucker, don't do things when your lawyer tells you not to do them either.
I don't have any lawyers.
a team of lawyers. I mean, you know, Mitt Romney has said that there's a bombshell hiding in these tax returns and that Donald needs to release them. Whether or not it's how much money he's donated or said he's donated to veterans, Mitt Romney has pointed out. The list goes on and on. What do you say to that?
Well, at this time in the political cycle, during the 2012 race, Mitt Romney had not released his. So, you know, I think that should be considered as well.
Interesting.
You know, maybe by the time we get to the point in the cycle where Romney released his, Trump will have released his.
I didn't know that. That's an interesting fact. Dr. Ben Carson, thanks a lot for joining us this morning.
My pleasure.